Let's talk about network security controls. Now, in the previous session, we discussed the concept of access controls and the different models of access control. And we also discussed, authorization, authentication, and the least privilege principle. Now, in this lesson, let's explore the different types of network security controls, firewalls, intrusion detection and prevention systems, VPNs, and network segmentation. In today's interconnected world, data is always transmitted across networks. Every device seems to be connected to some type of network, whether it's a local network or a public network like the internet. And it's very important to ensure the security of networks. It's the one thing that um, everything is affected by. And because of the growth of cyber threats, we need robust network security controls. We can't just rely on one single control. And controls act as kind of like a digital fortress and helps us to safeguard our sensitive data. So, what are network security controls? These are the technologies and the methods that we use to protect our networks from cyber threats. And they kind of act as a first line of defense against malicious activities, unauthorized access, and data breaches. And combining these different controls helps us create a robust security strategy. So, some examples: firewall, you probably heard about this. Firewall just acts as a gatekeeper between our trusted internet network, trusted internal network, and an untrusted external network, like the internet, for example. And they help us analyze our incoming and outgoing network traffic based on some rules that we've defined. And it's kind of like a security guard deciding who gets to enter a building and who to bounce, basically. Um, Firewalls, if you think about an organization has an internal network where they share data, they share resources and all that stuff. But at the same time, they still need to connect to the internet, right? But when connecting to the internet, there needs to be like a guard between that trusted network and the untrusted network. Intrusion detection system, or IDS, monitors network traffic and identifies potentially malicious activities. And threats are detected either by comparing patterns or behavior based analysis. And it serves as a kind of security alarm that will raise an alert when an intrusion is detected. And it can either be network based, meaning it monitors network traffic and raises alerts on suspicious patterns, or host based, meaning it sits on a host, a device, whether it's your personal computing devices or servers. So when it comes to intrusion prevention system, it's like an IDS, but it also actively prevents any identified threats. And so when it detects something, it also takes action to prevent it from happening. And a network-based IPS and host-based IPS is kind of like the IPS equivalent of a network-based and host-based IDS. So it's kind of like the same concept. So when it comes to virtual private networks, you probably used the VPN app before. But in terms of like enterprises and organizations, they are used more to allow connection between different sites, or remote connection from anywhere to a particular site over an untrusted network like the internet. So it establishes a secure encrypted tunnels over untrusted networks, and it allows remote users, so you can work remotely but still access internal resources as if you were inside the network. And this has become more prevalent in the era of remote working and collaboration. So network segmentation. is kind of like dividing the network into isolated segments with um, controls, and it reduces the impact of security breaches by limiting lateral movement. So what that means is that you are segmenting different areas of the network by one parameter or the other, and it allows you to reduce blast radius if anything happens. So say they get access to a particular side of the network, doesn't mean they automatically get access to everything else. And that allows you to more easily contain it, because if this side is infected, you can easily take things down there while you investigate, and it's not going to spread so easily. So just to conclude, we talked about how firewalls, IDS, IPS, and VPN, and also network segmentation enhance security and strengthen our defenses against cyber threats. And of course, they help us maintain data confidentiality, integrity, and availability. Thank you, and we'll meet in the next lesson.